guys, my name is Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. Firstly, this camera. Guys, we're going back to this quality just for my vlog reviews, so anything that's going to be come with me style, it will be on this camera because it's portable. So I am switching to the nice quality camera for any sit down videos, sit down reviews, anything like that, but anything on the go is this camera. Second, hello if you're new. We just made it to 20,000 subscribers. I cannot even believe it. Some of you guys would have come over from the Slapped Ham collab, and I just want to take this moment to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Emma. I make horror content on YouTube. I do 2 videos a week, usually a review and then like a fun other video talking about a horror scene breakdown or interviewing someone or a top 10 list or revisiting an old horror movie. And if you're lucky, sometimes I include my dog Gromit in there, who everyone loves. He's a greyhound. I do want to include down below one of my favorite videos I have done, which is about Art the Clown. He's a good friend of mine. I interviewed the director and the actor of Art, and if you want to check out that link, it's just down there. We got some juicy information that no one else got, and I want you guys to check out that link because it's a reflection of the content I want to bring you. Last thing, on my last favorites video, I did mention that I'm going to do something with the 20K video. But this happened really quickly because I wasn't aware that the collab was gonna go up. So I'm sorry you guys are gonna have to wait just a little bit longer, but I promise something is coming your way, and a lot of you guys guessed what it was. It's gonna be epic, it's worth it. But all of that out of the way, today we're gonna go see Happy Death Day to You. I'm gonna go see the advanced screening here in Perth, and I'm very excited. I really liked the first one as kind of a plain basic comedy horror. The first one wasn't the best movie by any means, but it was something fun and fresh, and it was definitely a change up for the horror movies that were coming out of the cinema at the time. If you haven't seen the first one, it is about Tree, who gets stuck in this time loop and she has to figure out who's killing her. At the end, you do get the conclusion, so I do recommend watching that one before going into this one because it will definitely spoil it for you. And in this film, Tree somehow falls back into the time loop and she needs to discover why she got there or how she got there in the first place. So far, I've seen some tweets here and there from some critics praising the sequel, so I've kind of got high hopes. Do I? I don't know. I just want to have fun with this one. That's what the film's about, just having fun. I have been warned though by one of you guys that it's more of a romantic comedy. So we will see. I mean, it's meant to come out on Valentine's Day, so. But enough chat, let's go check out Happy Death Day 2. Hey guys, I just got out of watching Happy Death Day to You, and I'm going to give you my thoughts that are spoiler free completely, so don't worry. This movie is quite good for a sequel. I feel like our hopes and dreams are very much lowered because of horror sequels that aren't franchises, just sequels, although some franchises are very questionable. But I think this movie did the first one justice. I wouldn't say it's on par with the first one, but it definitely takes the idea and runs with it. The great thing about this movie is it starts with a bang, it really gets straight into it, and it doesn't waste time. It utilizes the character setup that was in the first one. So if you haven't seen the first one, it is quite important that you watch it. And if you have seen it, but you haven't seen it recently and you're wondering if you should before going to see it, I think you should, because there's a lot of nods to the first one and it kind of goes back into a lot of the stuff, so I think it's really important. But it does show a little recap during the movie if you don't have time. But obviously, if you want to get back into the characters and to their personalities and all that kind of stuff, I think it's important. They do introduce a couple of new characters, but obviously Tree definitely carries this movie. Jessica Roth, she is amazing. And anyone who liked the first one because of her, which I know a lot of you guys have said that she was just so good in it, I think that she does maybe even better in this one because she could go a little bit deeper with the character. As we already knew, the plot for this one is about Tree going back into the time time loop. And I'm not going to spoil any more on that, but I do want to say it gets a lot deeper, and there's a lot more sci-fi elements in the film. The cause is definitely revealed, and I think that it has legs. It makes sense, and I think a lot of us were worried about it making sense. Because it is kind of more of a sci-fi film, and I'm chucking that out very loosely, there are some kind of plot holes if you want to get nitpicky, which I know a lot of people will, but I think it is justified completely. And when you bring sci-fi theories and elements into a film, there's always going to be other theories and other ways, and I just think that you have to let go of that. This film, above everything else, is just a fun film, and it's definitely a film that was made for people who really enjoyed the first one. So if you are a lover of the first one, you're gonna like this film. If you aren't, you're not gonna. So the film is just for your pure enjoyment. I do think, as I said, Tree gets quite deep, and it gets emotional in parts, but I think it's still has a lot of that fun element, and it's quite cheesy. There's some montage moments which really go for it, and I think that it's that dark humor that's kind of fun in a way. You know, when someone's dying over and over, somehow we think it's hilarious, and I think that they really played on that, and they took it a little bit too far in some of the montage scenes, but it was okay. It was fun cheese, it was laughable, it was silly, and this is just a movie that you shouldn't be taking seriously. Some tips I want to give you guys on watching this film. One, I saw it in like an IMAX, kind of like VMAX cinema. I don't know if you know what that is in another country, but it's pretty much like the nicer cinema, not like the gold class, you know, luxury cinema, but a nicer, bigger cinema that has really good speakers and all that kind of stuff, because it has more sci-fi elements and explosions. I found it a little bit more immersive to be in that kind of theater, and I felt like it worked really well with the sound, so I would recommend that if you can. And also, it's just, I mean, it's all in all films, it's good to see it in like a black room, dark room with no distractions. But with this film, I felt like it did it justice, because there was so much going on, and it really twists and turns the story. It's a lot to take in, and there's a lot happening, so I feel like it was really suited to seeing in the cinema. Another tip I have for you is you need to watch after the credits, because there is an extra scene that takes on a life of its own, and I think that's important. A few people have put out articles about it, but I think it kind of spoils it even knowing about it, like what it's about, so I'm just going to leave it at that, but definitely stay until after the credits. Overall, this film, it's silly, and it's like kind of like a sci-fi drama comedy horror. I don't want to say it's not a horror, because, you know, there's problems when people say that, and it's just not a slasher like the first one is. There's a couple of jump scares for sure, but it definitely loses its scariness. There's no kind of sinister moments. It's all kind of fun, and when you're playing around with death over and over and over, it kind of loses its meaning. I know that sounds weird, but it just doesn't work the same as the first one with it being so scary. They play with it a lot, so I don't think it is as horrific as the first one, I'll say that. And again, more sci-fi, more comedy kind of elements. But if that sounds like something you would enjoy, I definitely would recommend it. I did give it 6 out of 10, which is a respectable 3 out of 5, mind you. But because I gave the first one the same amount, and I feel like I wanted to give it more because it was an impressive sequel, but that's just not the way the world works. But I do think it's a good film. I just don't think it's a great film, and usually I give 7s to films that kind of pull on my heartstrings, but also are something I really recommend. And this film, I just recommend if you want a good time. This film is a good time, and if you're looking for something to do, I'm sure you'll see this after Valentine's Day, but if you're looking for something to do for a date night, or something to take your friends who don't like horror movies, this is a good movie, because it's not scary. It's not like super gory. It's just fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's more like a comedy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you for being here, and hello to everyone new. And guys, I've been setting up my my 20,000 subscriber video. It's on its way, guys. We'll figure it out, and I can't wait to see you guys then. But I have a review out for braids on early next week, so I'll see you guys then. And until then, subscribe if you haven't, and stay spooky, and let me know if you've seen Happy Death Day 2, if you've seen it this weekend, and what you thought down below. I'd love to hear. What did you rate it out of 10? I'd like to know, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky, guys.